Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Nanjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajapacharya Ashtadharashata Shri Srimad Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajapacharya Ashtadharashata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Yamunamai Ki Jai, Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. Can you give me a book, please? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Science of God, Chapter 13, The Behavior of a Perfect Person, Text 26. Please repeat after me. Tatrapi dam patinam cha sukayanya panutaye karmani kurvatam drishtva nivritto smi viparyayam tatapi dampatinam cha sukayana panuttaye karmani kurvatam drishtva nivrittosmi viparyayam tatapi dampatinam cha sukayana panuttaye karmani kurvatam drishtva nivrittosmi viparyayam tatapi dampatinam cha sukayana panuttaye karmani kurvatam drishtva nivrittosmi viparyayam We like to chat. Word by word, tatra, there. Api, also. Dampatinam, of men and women united by marriage. Cha, and. Sukaya, for the sake of pleasure. Specifically the pleasure of sex life. Anya apanuttaye, for avoiding misery. Karmani, fruit of activities. Kurvatam, always engaged in. Drishtva, by observing. Nivritta asmi, I have now ceased from such activities. Viparyayam, the opposite. Translation and purport. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In this human form of life, a man and a woman unite for the sensual pleasure of sex, but by actual experience we have observed that none of them are happy. Therefore, seeing the contrary results, I have stopped taking part in materialistic activities. Purport. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Yanmaitunadi Grihamedi Sukham Hitucham. Man and woman both seek sexual enjoyment, and when they are united by the ritualistic ceremony of marriage, they are happy for some time, but finally there is dissension, and thus there are so many cases of separation and divorce. Although every man and woman is actually eager to enjoy life through sexual unity, the result is disunity and distress. Marriage is recommended to give men and women a concession for restricted sex life, which is also recommended in Bhagavad Gita by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi. Sex life, not against the principles of religion, is Krishna. Every living entity is always eager to enjoy sex life because materialistic life consists of eating, sleeping, sex, and fear. In animal life, eating, sleeping, sexual enjoyment, and fear cannot be regulated. But for human society, the plan is that although men, like animals, must be allowed to eat, sleep, enjoy sex, and take protection from fear, they must be regulated. The Vedic plan for eating recommends that one take yagya shishta, or prasad, food offered to Krishna. Yagya shishtashino na santo muchante sarvakil bisaya. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food that is offered first for sacrifice. From the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 13. In material life, one commits sinful activities, especially in eating. And because of sinful activities, one is condemned by nature's laws to accept another body, which is imposed as a punishment. Sex and eating are essential, and therefore they are offered to human society under Vedic restrictions, so that according to the Vedic injunctions, people may eat, sleep, enjoy sex, be protected from fearful life, and gradually be elevated and liberated from the punishment of material existence. Thus, the Vedic injunctions for marriage offer a concession to human society, the idea being that a man and woman united in a ritualistic marriage ceremony should help one another advance in spiritual life. Unfortunately, especially in this age, men and women unite for unrestricted sexual enjoyment. Thus, they are victimized, being obliged to take rebirth in the forms of animals to fulfill their animalistic propensities. The Vedic injunctions therefore warn, Nayam deha deha bhajam nirloke kashtan kaman harte vidbhujamye. One should not enjoy sex life like hogs and eat everything, even to the limit of stool. A human being should eat prasad offered to the deity and should enjoy sex life according to the Vedic injunctions. He should engage himself in the business of Krishna consciousness. He should save himself from the fearful condition of material existence, and he should sleep only to recover from fatigue due to working hard. The learned Brahmin said that since everything is misused by fruitive workers, he had retired from all fruitive activities. Omegana Dimadandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshulan Meditamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kaditavachalam Pangam Langai Tegirim Yakipatamaham Vande Shri Gurundinitarinam Vancha Kopadribisha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. In this human form of life, a man and woman unite for the sensual pleasure of sex, but by actual experience we have observed that none of them are happy. Therefore, seeing the contrary results, I have stopped taking part in materialistic activities. So Prahlad Maharaj, he has encountered this personality who's lying on the ground doing what is Chad termed Python yoga, just collecting whatever comes without over-endeavoring, actually not endeavoring at all. Not that he's not over-endeavoring, he's not endeavoring at all, it's just coming to him. So Prahlad Maharaj, in this person, they're speaking, and Prahlad Maharaj is asking him, what is your story? What is your history? How did you come to this point? And this personality, he is starting to, some verses ago, he started to explain his situation, how he came to this particular point. And this verse is one of his answers to Prahlad Maharaj, that seeing living entities in this world, men and women, getting together on the basis of sensual pleasure in the form of sex. And I've observed, this is what he's saying, I've observed, dear Prahlad Maharaj, that these people aren't happy. And none of them are happy. Therefore, seeing this, I have stopped taking part in materialistic activities. I've seen this, and none of them are happy, so I gave up on that program. Now, of course, there's different ways to learn. We learn by hearing, we learn by seeing, and we learn by experience. Anything else? Not learning. And then we don't learn. We don't learn by hearing, we don't learn by seeing, we don't learn by experience. So these are the different ways we can learn. So this personality, he is saying that he learned by, he's observed. He's seen this. So if we observe entities in this world, what's going on in this world, if we take a good look at what's going on in this world, we could also observe this, that people aren't satisfied. Just look at your immediate friends or your past friends. Hopefully your friends are devotees and they are happy, but look at the friends of the past, or look at some of your family members. Here, Srila Prabhupada talks about they get together on the basis of sensual pleasure, and then for unity, but then there's disunity, and he says divorce. How many people live in, come from families that are divorced? How many people come from families who their mother or their father has married numerous times? We don't have to, we want to ask anybody to raise their hands here, but I know some haven't, but many have. And it's quite rare to find people who haven't. So we see that practically, by looking just in even our own lives, this is the case. I mean, I've seen plenty of people, they get together and everything's wonderful and there's a big fancy marriage and they love each other and till death do us part. I don't know what they say in the Vedic ceremony, but I think they say something like that too. May you be with each other, yeah. Something like that. But many people I've seen also, they just, somehow or other, it just doesn't work out. It falls apart this way or that way, this reason, that reason. And quite a few people. So this is what this particular personality is mentioning as well, that this seems to be very common. And as much as someone tries to be happy in this way, it's just impossible. Of course, because people do not know any better, because people do not have any higher knowledge, people do not have good association, and people are conditioned by material nature, they just go for this. And as Prahlad Maharaj says, punat punascharvadacharvananam, just chewing the chewed. It's already been experienced, but they just keep on going. I remember there's one person, he's probably not listening to this, so. And I don't think he'd mind if I say it anyways, because I'm not saying his name, and I think he's liberal enough to let me use his example as for the purpose of teaching, but I'm just extremely suffering from lust, from sexual desire, just like very extreme. I remember, but this person is coming to the temple. I mean, coming to the Krishna lounge, coming to the temple, chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasadam. Of course, that all helps. To the degree one takes it very seriously, it helps. The more serious one takes it, the more seriously it helps. And he was taking it, taking to Krishna consciousness to a degree. I wouldn't say it was an absolute serious degree, but he was still engaged in the process. And I remember one time, he kind of had a girlfriend. She was also taken to Krishna consciousness, but I remember one time I was talking with him outside in front of the Krishna lounge. And then this group of young women and men come by, like a typical Pacific Beach group, like a Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night party type of group. Young, attractive, think that they meant, I don't know, who knows what they're thinking, but some of them think that they've got it all figured out. Just really out to enjoy, not in a spiritual way. So anyways, they're all going out, walking down the street, and then this person, I'm talking to him, we're just having like a normal conversation, just talking about whatever. And then all of a sudden, he just like turns and he sees them, and he just walks to them, and he starts talking with this girl. Actually, he's shooting arrows at all the girls and seeing who reciprocates. But he's going around, and there's some guys there too, guys and girls. And then he just goes into that group, and one of them kind of reciprocates, and then they just like walk down all of them, they walk down the road, Grand Avenue. And the guy, and I just watched the guy, and he just like disappears with this big group of people. And I was thinking, wow, this is extreme lust here. And if you think about it from a very cultured, from a Krishna conscious point of view, it's just extremely unfortunate and sad. But yeah, and he would sometime, and I remember he called me one time, and he was telling me how much he was suffering, and how he's a young man, but he's just, he's a young, attractive guy with a lot of charisma. That's true, he's got a lot of charisma. But he's a young, attractive guy, and he's just struggling like, HELL, because he's, he just can't give up this, chasing women all over the universe. All over San Diego, at least. I don't know about the universe, but he would, anyways. So, and then recently I met him, and he was telling me how he was, he started this big business and making a lot of money, and like a lot of money. And he was, buying very, very expensive things for his family, and, like dogs, for example. I don't know, they're like $10,000 each or $5,000. It's like really expensive dogs. I said, why is this dog so expensive? And he said, oh, well, it's like, I don't know, it's like mixed, breeding. Yeah, breeding, some kind of strange. And I was like, really? They're, breeding? He's like, yeah, people got a lot of time on their hands. But very expensive dogs. And he was telling me how he really, built up his business and buying his family and his girlfriend all these expensive things and trying to enjoy himself materially. And he said he just felt nothing. Like literally. He said, I was shocked. He was like, I just felt nothing. There was just no pleasure in it, just like, he said, actually I'm just suffering. That's what he told me. I'm just suffering. And then whatever, he gave me some stories of how he was suffering, which I won't tell you because I don't think it's necessary. I think we've heard enough about him this morning. So we could see by observing people within our lives or by hearing about people that it's illusion, that this idea that one will be happy by gratifying their material senses to the utmost degree is just it's an illusion. It's not real. It's Maya's trick. So therefore, in the Vedas, it says that, okay, if one hearing about this, or if still by nature or by conditioning or however you want to see it, if they have inclinations for a woman to be with a man or a man to be with a woman, then there is a religious way about going about it. Not that you just, there's a big group and the guy just picks one and they all walk down the street. That's definitely not religious. But there's a religious way about going about things. And that is, as Srila Prabhupada mentions here, the institution of marriage. And for a man and a woman to get married is quite natural, and most people go in that direction, although it's not necessary. I mean, for those who want to stay brahmachari, for those who want to, live that life of renunciation as a lifelong brahmachari, or as going towards sannyas, that's also available. But for those who, for whatever reasons, don't find themselves in that situation, then there's a religious way of going about things. And Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi, that sex life that is not against religious principles, he says, that I am that sex life, Krishna says. So that sex life that is for the purpose of bringing Krishna conscious children to this world is considered to be Krishna. Krishna says, right, I am of purifiers, I'm the wind, I'm the light of the sun. So he describes many things in that chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. But the idea is it has to be controlled. Everything has to be controlled. And as Srila Prabhupada says in this particular purport, that animals, they have to eat, they have to sleep, they have to have sex, they have to engage in protection from fear. So humans also have to do those things. But they have to be regulated. And in terms of food, it's a very entangling thing, food. People in different countries all over the world, there's a lot of bad food habits. I mean, you'd be surprised what people, consume as food. We think, oh, that's not food, that's something else. Like I remember someone was telling me of there's this restaurant in Los Angeles, and they serve all this like so-called delicacies, kind of strange food that is not vegetarian, but it's very expensive. I mean, like we're talking like a lunch is thousands of dollars. Yeah, thousands of dollars. Like I don't know. We could look it up. I forgot what they told me, but some really ridiculous amount of money. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what they serve, but some type of meat. Oh, yeah. But people have a lot of money; they need to spend it somehow. Of course, it's not a good way to spend your money. But I was just thinking about it when I heard about it. I was saying, these people, they pay to eat this food. And then devotees, you cannot pay to eat the food. You couldn't pay the devotees to eat such food. So the violence that takes place for food is unnecessary, and therefore devotees don't take part in it. But they take part in patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakti prachati. If Krishna says, if you offer me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, some water with devotion, I will accept it. So we offer food to Krishna. It's very important to offer food to Krishna. And then we take that food as prasad. We take that food as the mercy of Krishna. We honor that prasadam. And the prasadam has a purifying effect on our consciousness. And we see that people who take prasadam, like some of these people from the lounge, for example, or we should say some of the people who go to the lounge, not exactly from the lounge, but some of the people who go to the lounge, who they attend the lounge, the Krishna Lounge program here every Thursday or often, we see that gradually they become purified. They really start to change. And they take more interest in the philosophy, they take more interest in the chanting. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said an interesting thing. He said, if you just feed them prasadam, then eventually they'll come to the point of kanishta adhikari. It means they'll become a devotee. It's quite interesting. So yeah, it's very important. One, that we take prasadam, and we take food offered to Krishna, and also that we distribute it. So we have our Archita Prabhu. He's coming down in November. There's this AAR, American Association for Religion or something like that. They're having a big convention down there. They have it different places in America, so he's going to go down and try to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, 50% off, for those who buy it in the convention. And so he'll be here for a few days, staying, and I think Govardhan might join him to distribute books. And we'll also make some prasadam to distribute to these people, some burfis or whatever it is. So that's an opportunity coming up. But there's so many opportunities to distribute prasadam, and it's very important. And Srila Prabhupada, he really stressed that also the prasadam should be of the topmost quality. There's one lecture Srila Prabhupada, a lecture Srila Prabhupada, or a recording of Srila Prabhupada. He's in Hyderabad. He's really giving the devotees a hard time because they put on this big Pandal program and they hired some cooks, but they weren't very good. And they weren't devotees and they're unclean, but they just weren't good cooks. I mean, and Srila Prabhupada, he said that this food is not even suitable for the dogs. And he said that you should have told me. He said, I would have personally cooked, but you can't have such things. This is unacceptable. And this is common. Srila Prabhupada would go to Mexico City. I remember reading, he went to Mexico City, and devotees were serving him prasadam, and some puris came out. Puris are a very fine science. All cooking is actually fine science, but this puri was apparently not good. And Prabhupada, he said, oh, this is not a puri. He just told it it's not even a puri. He said, this isn't a puri. And the Mataji, his young disciple, female disciple, came out and he said, oh, this isn't a puri. You have to do better than this. And apparently the next day she redeemed herself. She made some nice chutney that Srila Prabhupada liked, apparently. So, but it's very important to learn this, and for the purpose of trying to help others, trying to liberate others by giving them prasadam. And you have Prema Priya Radhika, she's here. Devotees tend to like her cooking. I haven't heard many complaints. I actually haven't heard any complaints. So you could learn some things from her. And we went to this kirtan at a yoga studio yesterday. And we brought them some prasadam. So they liked it. They said they loved it. So I told them I would tell the cook. So Prema Priyaradika made that. So in this way, if we learn how to cook, first of all, we could learn how to cook and offer nice things to Krishna for his pleasure. And simultaneously taking that, we become purified. And then we distribute it to others, and they become purified. And we could also use it to serve devotees. So it's all around very merciful program that Krishna has arranged. So that's how we purify this eating propensity. And as Srila Prabhupada mentions, sleeping is very important, that devotees sleep enough. Sometimes there's complaints that devotees don't sleep enough. And a lot of devotees feel that's true. Now, it depends. People are different. Some people, like Srila Prabhupada would say, some people are refreshed after 8 hours, which we tend to think is a lot for a devotee. But some people are refreshed after 7 hours. Some people are refreshed after 6 hours. Some people are even refreshed after 5 hours, believe it or not. I don't know about 4. But so we have to be honest with ourselves and not imitate the 6 Goswamis, or also not imitate Kumbhakarna by sleeping too much. I mean, generally devotees tend to sleep too little than too much, it seems. At least the number of them. So we have to be careful about that and try to arrange our lives in such a way is that we do get enough sleep. Of course, you could say it's kind of funny. I'm up here saying this because devotees know. I could probably take my own advice, getting enough sleep. But it is important for keeping a cool, sound mind, for having good sadhana in the morning, and yeah, I mean, if we do not have good sadhana in the morning, and if we do not lead a good example for the devotees, then ultimately, it's I would say, what's the use of our preaching? But as Srila Prabhupada said one time, if you work very hard, he told this to Giraj Das Brahmachari, he said, if you work very hard for, I think he said 1 day, and then you have to recover for 3 days, that's not a very good program. So we have to use our intelligence. We have to, like these lounge programs are very difficult actually, because, people like to talk and devotees like to talk. And granted, they're talking about important things and Krishna consciousness, but it is tough because you have so many people there and so many people want to talk. And this is the time where we could talk with them, So, but we have to try to, if need be, we just restrict that. Just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I have to leave. I really like to talk to you more. If you want, you could come back Saturday morning. We're having breakfast, and we're very nice breakfast, burritos. You could come, and I'll talk with you after. We'll have a good time. So, anyways, there's different things we could do. That's just a few examples. So the learned Brahmin said that since everything is so his conclusion was that just seeing, he's telling Prahlad Maharaj, just seeing people and their suffering condition, I got out of that. I decided to go against the grain. I decided to give up that program. Why? Because it doesn't work. So now I'm just lying here like doing, as Chad termed, he's here now, he wasn't here earlier, doing Python yoga. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Sankarshan has the question? Or a comment?
I just had a question. Srila Prabhupada mentioned twice, like the regulations of sleeping and eating and mating, but then he also mentioned the protection of fear. Like, I guess you help me understand what is the...
Yeah, I didn't talk much about fear.
Like the...
I was scared to talk about it.
Like the regulation of fear. How's that?
Well, yeah, fear is definitely a extreme motivating factor in the world. People are in fear of, for example, living on the streets. I mean, who wants to do that, right? Some people. I guess some of the brahmacharis kind of have may have an inclination, live outdoors, get the fresh air, breeze, freedom from, if you live outside, you don't have to fix anything, right? No plumbing to fix, nothing to fix, right? No windows, you don't even have to, nothing to clean, right? Just kind of move. Yeah, no bills. Yeah, move on to the next spot. Like the 6 Goswamis, right? One tree after another. But generally, a lot of people, they don't like the idea of living outside. So you could say they're in fear of that. So therefore, they are working to maintain things, pay their apartment bill, pay their mortgage. People are in fear in so many different ways. But we have to. But we also have to be careful that we're not fearful. I mean, Srila Prabhupada said that devotees are fearful of Maya. They don't want to fall in Maya. They don't want to fall into illusion. That's okay. You should be fearful of Maya. But in terms of fearing that, what about my maintenance? Because sometimes this could be a thing in brahmacharis' minds. What about my future? How will I be taken care of? Who will look after me? What's that devotee's name? He's a Prabhupada disciple. He makes all that those funny videos of poetry. Paravidha, I think his name is. I think he's from, Europe somewhere. But he makes all these he's a dramatic performer, and he had this whole song about a brahmachari. It goes into this whole thing. It's quite funny. Maybe I'll send it to some devotees later. But one of the things he's joking about in that is that, but it's a consideration people have, that what about my future? Who will take care of me? When I'm older, this and that. And I remembered Anandatirtha Maharaj was telling me that he was speaking with one devotee, and this devotee was saying that, expressing his fear for Anandatirtha Maharaj. He said, you're going to take sannyas, who I've heard stories, who's going to take care of you? What's going to happen, to you in the future? You're not, it's not like you're amassing all of the, what's going to happen to you? And then Tirtha Maharaj said, I have faith, Krishna will take care of me. There'll be some arrangements. You have to have faith in Krishna, faith that he'll take care of you. But then this devotee kept on expressing his fear. And then Tirtha Maharaj said, hey, that's why, this is the reason why I'm taking sannyas and you're not, You obviously have some fear in this regard, but sannyas, you're supposed to be fearless. But as devotees, they were supposed to be fearless, not fearing death, not fearing old age, not fearing how will I be maintained. There's many things to fear. But we're supposed to be fearless that Krishna will take care of us. We take shelter of Krishna, and he says, Ma suchaha, do not fear, do not worry. I shall protect you. So that's something. I hope you're satisfied to a degree.
It's based on a false premise that if you try to take care of yourself, then everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Their husband runs off with all the money and dumps them for the secretary.
Yeah.
They have a little cough and they go in and the doctor says, you've got 6 weeks to live.
Yeah.
You know, there was just this big hurricane. The devotees were telling me that, plowed into Alachua, but really it was on the... And people just, their whole house was gone. Everything was gone.
Yeah.
So what's your certainty? Kalakanta Prabhu, evidently there's limestone caves deep under the ground, and sometimes they collapse and create a sinkhole. And his whole house and his brand new car were swallowed by a sinkhole. Just happened in one day. Police came, sealed everything off, and 2 days later his whole house is gone, plus his new car.
Yeah, so, yeah, there's no certainty that you just take care of yourself or you fend for yourself and just completely depend on yourself or maybe those close to you that things will work out. This devotee was mentioning to me how her husband just like through what is that, like cryptocurrency type of stuff, just got completely scammed. All the retirement money gone. So yeah, there's no certainty. Or even if you don't get scammed in that way, someone may just scam you for all your money some other way. I mean, happens, So in this way, there's so many things going on like this. But devotees, they shouldn't worry. They should just take shelter of Krishna, and Krishna will protect them. Krishna will give them intelligence. Krishna will, they'll always be under Krishna's shelter, which, yeah. Any other question? Yes, or comment?
I was talking about marriage, and somebody was telling me the mantra for marriage is, I love you, you're perfect, now change. As soon as they marry you, well, everything, we'll just fix this, we'll tweak this, we'll tweak that, so.
That's funny.
The whole thing's an illusion that it's all going to work out.
I just have a question about how this perfect person who is lying there in Python, I mean, he knows the philosophy, obviously.
Yeah.
But doesn't I mean, we're meant to understand all these things that he's saying also and live that life. I mean, not imitate him. But how is he the perfect person when he's not doing anything for Krishna? I mean, other than not doing things against Krishna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just puzzling to me. I was looking ahead and trying to find out.
He's a Babaji, Paramahansa. It's building on the earlier verses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paramahamsa Babaji, just, liberated not in a preaching sense, but in a, above the body concept of
I
life.
guess being here and being in the Bhagavatam, and that's his preaching. He gets recorded and all, and everyone will learn it.
Yeah, that's true. He's a really big preacher. Yeah. All right, so we'll stop there. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.